Hey everybody, Mike Prill here from the Digital Transformation Project team, and I'm excited to share some changes that are upcoming here in the next few days for event prerequisites and how they're handled. So previous to this, and basically since November of 2018, the portal has been smart enough to see whenever someone's missing any type of online training, and it would tell us a helpful message here like, hey, before you can attend, you need to go complete this thing. But it was only smart enough to understand online training. And recently there's been a lot of confusion because there's things like Sawyer 2 class that require that you've done Sawyer 1, which happens to be an in-person event. And there was no easy way to really show that. So the people that were signing up were confused. The people that were trying to vet were confused. And so we've been making some changes. But while we were in there changing stuff, we also went back to the drawing board, enlisted the help of the Change Ambassador group, and said, let's talk about event prereqs. What would you like to see? So they gave us a laundry list, and happy to announce we were able to do a handful of things actually. So the first thing that we did is the system is now smart enough to understand whether someone's done in-person events or not. So that can now successfully be added as a prerequisite. And if it is added, then the portal, I guess more importantly, is now smart enough to understand whether someone's done it or not. So in this case with my test user, it knows that I haven't done the pre-course and I haven't done the in-person event. And obviously this is fake information. You know, a core ops class wouldn't require you to have the in-person Sawyer class, but I just wanted to use it as an example. So the portal is smarter. The second thing that we added was the ability to enforce the prereqs. So if you're the event lead or a lead instructor or maybe one of the approvers, you can check this box and it will basically not allow anybody to register unless they've already completed whatever is listed as a prereq. So right now, let me make sure this is unchecked. So on the portal for my user, it sees that I'm missing stuff, but it would still allow me to register by hitting accept here because at the time it wasn't enforced. So if I hit this button and hit save, and then we'll go ahead and reload the landing page here. Now it should be smart enough that it still knows that I haven't done it, but it also won't let me register. So right there you can see we have a new message here that says, please complete the prereqs above before registering for the event. And in the case that this event was also being waitlisted, you'd still see the add to waitlist button, but it would still block them from even adding themselves to the waitlist if that button is checked. So prereqs required is a new feature. Again, allows the event lead or whoever to say, thou shalt have these things done before you can even register. And that only works whenever people are going directly to the landing page. So if you go and add somebody yourself as an event lead, then it will bypass all this stuff. Now the other thing that's smart enough to do now is it will, if you do allow people to sign up, like let me uncheck this again here, hit save. Again, my test user is missing these things, right? So if we refresh here, and I'll go ahead and sign up. Another new feature is that the system is now smart enough to do the vetting for us. So in this case, it knows I'm missing the prereqs. It's letting me sign up anyway. I'll go ahead and accept. It's going to add me as a registrant, but here's the new feature. When it adds me, hit refresh here, it knows that I'm missing the prereq, and so it's automatically changing my registration status to missing prereq. And so what people should see going forward is if you have people that are meeting the requirements and they've done all the prereqs, you'll see them show up as vetted. And if they don't have all the prereqs, you'll see them show up as missing prereq. So hopefully that'll save our event leads a whole lot of time. They won't have to go check those particular people. Now there is still the possibility that people can come in as registered. One way is if they add a manual registration, and the other way is if they come in via the waitlist. So let's say that this event was full, the waitlist was turned on, prereqs were not being enforced, you could have a bunch of people on the waitlist, and as soon as somebody goes away from the main list, it's going to automatically shoot them in from the waitlist to have an actual registration. In that event, they're just going to show up as registered. And if they're only registered, that means that the event lead or the instructors or whoever would still need to go in and do some vetting before they can show up. As a reminder, you do have the option, if you are the event lead, You can change somebody's status to accepted, and that's one mechanism to understand that you've already vetted them, you've already selected them to show up, and it's just a little bit different compared to just registered. Each territory, I think, is going to handle that piece a little bit differently, but just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that it's there. So that's it for the basics. I want to thank Josh Troglia and Amanda Henderson, who helped me get all this stuff coded and tested. There was a lot of testing that went into this. Basically, any combination that an event can be in, we had to try to think about, as well as what we wanted the landing page to be displaying, what we wanted the activity in the background to do, and then, of course, whether or not it worked. So lots of energy was put into this. I just want to thank those guys for going the extra mile on this one. It's been a long time coming to being able to automatically vet, and lots of bonus features were added while we were under the hood. So keep these suggestions coming. Make sure you escalate through the Change Ambassador group. They can get it over to us as a project team, and we could try to get it out into the various releases. That's it for this particular video. If you are more technically inclined and want to hear a little bit more detail, because you might be someone that helps others troubleshoot any of this, go ahead and stay on the line here, and we've got another probably couple minutes of material. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Okay, so for people that want to know a little bit more information, one question that I've gotten a couple times is, what can be a prereq? And the way that the system's designed at the moment, if you go into the settings menu down here in the lower left, and then you go into training titles, you'll see the list of all the active training titles. And this could be whether it's an online training, in-person event, sometimes external documents are in here. So lots of different pieces of information. There is a field called prerequisite, and here I've got it sorted by yes. So all the yeses are on top. Anything that is a training tile that has prerequisite set to yes is what can actually show up if you go and add a prerequisite here. So if you say new prerequisite, it's actually only displaying a list of the ones that are in there that are set to prerequisite equals yes. You won't see anything else. So what that also means is that you can't use something that is like a social or a service project, like those can't be like official prereqs for anything else. So that's still not a capability. If you are looking at the landing page and you want to get more information on what's going on behind the scenes that's kind of deciding how all this stuff works, or if you're working with somebody and they're saying that it didn't work correctly, in Chrome at least you can hit F12 and go over to the console here and then reload the page, and you'll kind of see what it's doing. So in this case, it loaded my contact record. That's the 77C whatever, that's equal to me. In this case, it did find a registration, so that's why it's telling me that I'm already registered. But it will still kind of go through the checks behind the scenes. So don't worry about this piece for now, but it will do a preload check and start reading from 0. It's seeing that Core Ops 1, the online pre-course, is a prereq and that I do not have it done. And same thing with the next prereq, Chainsaw Operations 1 is a prereq and I don't have it done. So I'm missing a total of 2 prereqs. And this information may or may not be helpful, but sometimes if you're troubleshooting with people, we might ask that you hit F12 and reload the page just so we can get to some of this information. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. Anyway, if you've watched this long, thanks for your time, and just make sure you keep the good ideas coming, and we'll see you next time.